S.S.S. Tetzaveh, Tov Pei Daled. Just a little bit of a schedule change this week, so we're giving the shir from a different location. But the Nesivos Shalom shir is still the Nesivos Shalom shir, wherever we say it. And Baruch Hashem, we do it every week. So wherever we are and wherever we're able to say it, wherever we have a place, that's where it's going to happen. Our parsha begins this week. V'ato tetzaveh es b'nei Yisrael. A commandment to tell the b'nei Yisrael, and what should they do? V'yikchu elecha shemen zayis zoch kosis lamaor lahalois ner tamid. And what we all know is the tzivui about taking oil, how to make the oil, and to light the menorah, the tzivui about the lighting of menorah. If you take a look at this pasuk, one very interesting word in the pasuk is the word tamid. The last word sums it all up. Lahalis ner tamid. And we know that the word tamid means it means something nitzchi, something constant, something eternal, something that will always be, something that's forever. We also find something very interesting in the Medrash, and the Medrash tells us that when the Nesiim brought their karbonos, each shevet was bringing their own carbon for the Chanukas HaMizbeach. So Aaron HaKohen, who is from Shevet Levi, who was not bringing a carbon of the Nesiim, Aaron HaKohen had Chalishas Hadas. Aaron HaKohen felt bad. The Medrash tells us. Why did Aaron HaKohen feel bad? Aaron HaKohen felt bad because he was not part of this momentous occasion. The Chanukas HaMizbeach, and Aaron HaKohen wasn't able to bring a carbon Nesiim. They didn't bring one. So Aaron HaKohen had Chalishas Hadas. So the Medrash tells us that Hashem told Aaron HaKohen the following, and he said, I want you to know, Aaron HaKohen, don't feel so bad. You know why? You know why you shouldn't feel so bad? Because you, Aaron HaKohen, are going to have something that's even greater than the Chanukas HaMizbeach, greater than that which is brought on the Mizbeach. It's going to be more enduring than the karbonos of the Mizbeach. Why is that? Because the karbonos of the Mizbeach are only going to have a kiyum. They're only going to be around as long as the Beis HaMikdash is standing. But I want you to know, Aaron HaKohen, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, brought down in the Medrash, he tells Aaron HaKohen, but you're going to have a job that's going to last forever, not just as long as the Beis HaMikdash is standing like the Mizbeach and the Karbanos. You are going to have the job of lighting the menorah. So really, the question that I'm sure is on everybody's mind right now, it's the question of the Ramban in Parshas Ba'alo Yischa. And not only that, other Mefarshim also asked this question, and the question is obvious. When the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, unfortunately, right, we lost the Beis HaMikdash, we're still waiting today to fix up the things that we need to fix up, and that we should finally have a Beis HaMikdash once again. But when the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, we know that not only were there no more karbonos, we know that the Hadlakas HaMenorah is also stopped. We're not lighting a menorah today. We don't have the menorah of the Beis HaMikdash. We're not lighting it. That was batel too. So what does the Medrash mean? What was HaKadosh Baruch Hu telling Aaron HaKohen? Don't worry about it, Aaron HaKohen, because your job that you're going to do is going to be more enduring. It's going to endure forever. But unlike the karbonos of the Mizbeach. So, and we asked now from the pasuk. First of all, the pasuk says tamid. Tamid means forever. Tamid means that it's enduring forever. and it's not Tamid, right? Unfortunately, we don't have the Beis Hamikdash, and then we're also asking from the Medrash, what does it mean it's going to be forever if we don't light the menorah now? So the Nesivos Shalom wants to explain this based on a Medrash Tanchuma in Parshas Ba'aloischa. And the Medrash Tanchuma, the Medrash says that when the Beis Hamikdash was nechrav, when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, there were a few things that were not destroyed. And there's something called geniza, where they were just put away. They were stashed away, hidden away, to come out once again at another time. So there were a few things that were not destroyed. And those things, I'll list you some of them. The Medrash tells us the Aron was not destroyed. The Aron was put in Geniza. The Eish, Min HaShamayim, that they had in the Beis HaMikdash, Ruach HaKodesh, the Keruvim, and finally, one thing, the Menorah. The Menorah was also not destroyed at the Chorban Beis HaMikdash. It was nignaz. It was put away. It was hidden away. So let's look at the group of things that the Medrash just told us about. Let's look at what a common denominator of all these things. And we'll have a question, why the Menorah fits into this category of things that were not destroyed. Let's look at the other things. Everything else was actually something that was l'mayla miderech hateva. What do I mean by l'mayla miderech hateva? Things that cannot actually be destroyed even if one tries to destroy them. Things that are on a different, higher spiritual plane, and they can't be. And as we know, the Chorban Beis HaMikdash, Chazal tell us, was only external, right? It was not on the internal workings and makings of the Beis HaMikdash. And all those things that we mentioned in that list, let's take the Aron. The Aron had the Torah, had the Luchos, written by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That we could understand was certainly totally spiritual, l'mayla miderech hateva, and that had to be put away. That was not destroyed because the Chorban did not destroy things that were that totally spiritual, l'mayla miderech hateva. The Eish Min HaShamayim Avada also wasn't Teva, Ruach HaKodesh, that was put away, not to be used until the time of Mashiach and the Beis HaMikdash again. Ruach HaKodesh was certainly not Teva, nothing natural about that. So too the Keruvim, we know that the Keruvim reacted when they were facing each other, when they were not facing each other. The Keruvim reacted to the relationship between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how Klal Yisrael was keeping the Torah. And when they kept the Torah, the Keruvim were together, they were embracing, they were facing each other, and at other times they weren't. So the Keruvim was sort of this super natural, derech hateva kind of thing. So the question is, and now we're left with the Menorah. How does the Menorah fit into that group? Why was the Menorah nignaz, wherever it is, wherever people want to say it is today, whether it's in the Vatican or in Rome or in Yerushalayim or somewhere where totally nobody knows where it is. But the bottom line is the Menorah was not destroyed. And the Menorah is actually, we would think, a physical thing that we're holding. So what's going on here? How does the Menorah fit into that group? And if we were choosing one of the Kalim, why is the Menorah different than all the other Kalim? Maybe all the other Kalim should have been like the Menorah also in the Beis HaMikdash, in the Mishkan. So why would the Menorah be the one to be put away and to stay around? We also know, once we're talking about the Menorah, that the Menorah was made by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? Moshe Rabbeinu, they threw the gold in, and the Menorah was formed and made straight out of the fire on its own. So it seems that the Menorah was very, very different, and there's something going on here. There's something about the Menorah that we need to understand why it's called Tamid, why it's one of the Kalim, why it's one of the things, and the only one of the Kalim, unlike the Shulchan and the Mizbeach HaKetorah, all those things were destroyed, and the Menorah was different. So the Menorah was different. So Nesivos Shalom tells us that Chazal tell us in the Gemara, Masechta Chagiga, Daf Yud Beis, Amud Aleph, that when the original creation of light, of Yehi Or, at the beginning of creation, when light was created at Brias HaOlam, that light was such a powerful and special light that one would be able to see from one end of the world to the other. That's picture a light that penetrates and would show us and allow us to see from one end of the world to the other. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and whatever that means, that's a whole speech in itself about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kaviyachol, changing his mind, deciding with this one, but that's not for now. We don't have the time and space for that right now. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that this light could not and should not be used by people who will commit Averis, by Rishoim. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu went and he put away this light in the same way that we talked about the Beis HaMikdash. This light was put away, this totally spiritual and bright light was put away, was nignaz once again for the times of Mashiach and when the world will be whole once again. Unlike, we're not discussing now the lights, the sun, the moon, the stars, the things that were created on Yom Revi'i. This is the light that was created at the outset of Brias HaOlam. This light was now put away. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kaviyachol, decided that it's different and this light has to be put away. It was a godly light. That's what Yehi Or meant, that there was a godly light that was created. And this light would hold up the Bria. Hashem said, no, that's not for now. It's put away for those who deserve it and who deserve to see it. And just want to mention, as a side note, the Medrash Tanchuma in Parshas Noach tells us something very interesting, that this light is put away and does come out sometimes for Amalei Torah, for people who harva and who are oimel, who are the Amalei Torah, people who work on learning Torah. They get to feel and see how whatever this means, a bit above my pay grade, but whatever this means, that Amalei Torah. So first of all, it should make you want to be Amal B'Torah, because you might be able to feel this light, and you should be able to feel this light. But the menorah had that kind of a light also. This kind of a light, this light that was put away, that the Medrash says, yes, for those who are Amal B'Torah, but so too the menorah has that light. The menorah in the Beis HaMikdash, the light of the menorah was based off of that light. So it was a totally spiritual light. It wasn't just the light of a fire that they were making in the Beis HaMikdash. There was a light. That light was a light that came. It's from that spiritual light of Brias HaOlam. That's what the menorah was. So the menorah was just like the other things that were nignaz. The menorah was l'mayla miderech hateva. It had this light that no one has access to today. It has that light that was totally put away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's why the menorah was different than all the kelim. The menorah was the only one that was nignaz, and the menorah was the only one. That's why Aaron HaKohen was also told that what you're going to have, which means the light of menorah, Aaron HaKohen was told that's Kayim La'ad. That's put away, that's nignaz, that's going to last forever. We may not be able to see it today. We may not be able to light the menorah and do the menorah. We may not be able to see that light that is put away. We may feel it a little bit if you're Amal B'Torah. You may feel it a little bit if you're Zoiche, if you're a person that's on a very, very extremely high spiritual level, but it's not out there. And therefore, Churban does not apply. And that's why our Pasuk says, L'halos ner tamid. This is something that even after the Churban of the Mishkan, even after the Mishkan was finished, and even after the Churban Beis HaMikdash, it's still out there. It's something. And really what we all have to do is strive to reach this light. And hopefully we should all be Zoicha that very soon we should be able to see the Ar Chadash Al Tzion Toyer, that light, the new light, the great light. We should be able to see all of it, and we should be Zoicha to light the menorah, see the light of menorah, and every single one of us should be able to internalize this lesson and shine like the light of the menorah.